Hello, good day, and welcome to this session on warehouse performance measurement. By the end of this session, you should be able to understand why we need to measure warehouse operational performance, as well as explain the areas in warehouse operations that need to be measured. So, when we talk about warehouse performance measurement, in order to enhance or enable continuous improvement in your activities, you need to be able to have acceptable metrics or means of measuring progress. And one of these means is assessing the organization or the warehouse performance. Assessing performance or measuring performance helps to ensure that you are working within the key performance indicators that you have set for yourself while enhancing customer service, so that if you're assessing your performance in terms of delivery outcomes, you are able to know whether you are progressing in terms of your delivery or not. If you are assessing your performance in terms of order accuracy, it means you are able to tell whether your order processing skills need enhancing or they have to be continually maintained on a long-term basis. That is the reason why performance measurement is key in organizational activities. So it should be noted that customers are privy to certain information online. The internet has come to provide customers with varying access to information. Hence, organizations are not, or they are no longer having hands-on hands-on edge over the nature of services that they deliver. The customers are now the dictator of what they require from organizations. So if for you to be able to be an industry leader in terms of the service delivery that you offer, you have to ensure that your operations, that is your day-to-day activities, are being managed and measured accordingly, so that your internal employees are satisfied as well as your external customers are also satisfied. So organizations have to avoid the adoption of rigid operational mechanisms. They have to adopt flexible operations, as these will help them to adapt to changing circumstances. And this can only be realized when you are measuring your operational performance. Because if you are, let's say, you are adopting a certain technology and you realize that customers do not get their orders on time, or you realize that competitors are far ahead of you, if you measure your operational performance, you'll be able to ascertain this result and thereby enhance it to be able to be at par or ahead of the competition in your given industry. So warehouse operations have to be flexible enough to adapt to organizations' expectations as well as the industry competition. And it should be noted that even though low profits or low cost operations lead to higher profit, as well as allow the company to sell at a competitive price, organizations do not have to manipulate the low cost operations by compromising on quality, because in the end, customers are not only concerned with price, but they're also concerned with the quality of goods that they received from their manufacturers or from warehouse operations. So the need to measure performance is key for every organization, as they help to ensure reliability of the organization's services through on-time delivery, quick fill rates, as well as accuracy. When you have these three in place, it means customers place some level of reliability in the organization's services. And then measuring performance helps to ensure flexibility by measuring order cycle time, because if you are measuring your performance, it means you are able to detect or determine your order cycle time, that is the rate at which you are able to process a customer's orders and fulfill it to be delivered to those customers. So if you are measuring the order cycle time, or if you are measuring your performance, you are able to incorporate some level of flexibility in terms of how you fulfill customer orders. And then it's also necessary to ensure quick delivery to the customer as well as ensure eventual customer satisfaction. It's also key to ensure that there is a culture of continuous improvement, as when you identify gaps, you are able to adopt certain measures to fill in those gaps within the warehouse operations. It also helps to discover potential issues before they escalate to become major problems. Measuring performance helps to train staff in the right areas as well as reward these staff where there is the need for rewards. In measuring organization warehouse performance, you have to measure the warehouse operations in terms of cost. That is whether the cost, the level of sales merit the cost of investment in training of staff, the cost of investment in mechanical as well as technological equipment. Measuring performance also has to be in terms of asset utilization, how well material handling equipment, among other assets, are being maintained within the warehouse. Then, general warehouse utilization in terms of floor space utilization, how pallets are arranged in the warehouse, how accessible these arrangements facilitate or aid in facilitating good retrieval, among others. So, if you are measuring warehouse performance, these three could be some key performance indicators, or they can be some metrics that the organization could use to measure the warehouse performance. So they've been explained here: cost measurement, asset utilization measurement, as well as warehouse utilization measurement. So in measuring work, there are certain key elements that have to be considered. This includes the preparation time required for orders, the human aspect, the staff motivation, then mechanical factors, that is in terms of the forklift trucks, how are they maintained, among others, and then operational factors, how is the facility, the location of the facility for enhancing warehouse operations. So the metrics that are used to measure warehouse performance should be in terms of these SMART areas. That is, they should be specific. They should clearly state what the organization or the warehouse seeks to achieve. They should be measurable. They should be clearly laid out key performance indicators that the warehouse is seeking to achieve. Then they should be attainable or achievable. They should be realistic. They should be important for the objectives for which the warehouse is set up. And then they should be timely. They should be time bound. So in order to measure productivity, you can use labor hours utilization, which is usually calculated based on the labor hours used by 100 divided by the labor hours that is available. So to be able to measure your productivity, these are some of the metrics that can be used to measure: warehouse area utilization, material handling equipment utilization, unit pick per hour, dock to stock time, cost performance, cost as a percentage of sales, among others.